CTQ Drop a Dime production.
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Dehydration, or the Lord trying to get his attention, concerning Arieh King, an Israeli right-wing activist and politician currently serving as deputy mayor of Jerusalem and the founder of the Israel Land Foundation, and his hatred towards Messianic Christians. Christians, Messianic Jews, and missionaries face increasing hostility from Jewish radicals in Israel. Recently, activists from the Lahava organization and the Ahim organization physically attempted to block persons from attending a convention of Messianic Jews in Jerusalem. The Lahava and Ahim organizations oppose Christians' presence and proselytization in Israel. This comes as the deputy mayor of Jerusalem, Arieh King, recently led a group of religious Jews chanting, "Missionaries, go home." Some analysis assess that the rise in hostility and violence is tied to the current Israeli ruling coalition, which is largely supported by radical factions, strongly protective of the Israeli Orthodox Jewish character and opposed to Christianity in the public square.
Inside the King of Kings congregation, some 800 people recently attended 2 concerts of Hebrew worship songs.
It was a night of worship and singing through the scriptures, singing through the Psalms. Everyone was invited, and we were very upfront about what this event was. That was important to us, that all of the people attending knew exactly what they were coming to through the purchase of tickets well before the event.
But outside, something else was going on.
So as the worshipers were trying to come in, the protesters would block them. They would get in their way. They would physically put their hands on them, put their body on them.
Senior pastor Chad Holland told CBN News protesters verbally and physically attacked those trying to attend the concert sponsored by the Messianic Jewish Alliance of Israel.
Several people that got harmed, they got accosted. We were being told of several people who got hurt. In addition to that, there was quite a loud noise-making group, and eventually this group of protesters, and we might even say violent protesters, grew to between 80 and 100 people.
While Holland commended police for bringing order, he felt more could have been done to prevent the situation.
We want to say thank you to the police. They did such a good job. They were so brave and courageous. All we would want is for the police to take it more seriously early on, to send more police early so we could avoid this whole event altogether.
One of Jerusalem's deputy mayors, Arieh King, stood behind and supported the protesters, which included many teenagers and young men. Others cheered them on from above.
It's people who have a very warped view of what the Christian community is. They feel that most of the Christians in Jerusalem are there missionizing young Jews. I've tried to explain to them many times that that's not the case.
Another Jerusalem deputy mayor, Fleur Hassan Nahum, told CBN News she and other leaders tried to convince King what he was doing was wrong.
It was very negative, incendiary. The mayor condemned it, half the city council condemned it, and told him to his face that all he was doing is inciting hatred.
While she says the group is small, Hassan Nahum is still concerned about the violence against Christians.
Well, I would like to think that we do our utmost to protect all minorities. I've been involved in a campaign to get rabbis to condemn any type of violence or protests. So it's not the mainstream, and it's not even the mainstream Orthodox, and it's not even the mainstream national religious. It's a small marginal group, a few bad apples that ruin the basket.
Phaedra Shapiro, who heads the Israel Center for Jewish Christian Relations, sees it as democracy in action.
It was clear that the police were protecting the rights of concert goers. I mean, this is still a democratic country, and that includes the democratic right to protest. so long as it doesn't harm law and order.
On the other hand, she's concerned about the growing dispute.
There is a growing polarization in Israel, and that really has nothing much to do with Jews and Christians, and everything to do with politics and a certain sector that feels emboldened to act in increasingly undemocratic and sometimes brutal ways.
While Israelis may be sensitive to the idea of missionary activity, Shapiro believes those who would protest a Christian event are relatively few. She also feels Israelis should turn their energies elsewhere.
I think that our mission as Jews in Israel, it seems to me, needs to be building a vibrant Jewish identity among our people and not protesting a music concert.
Holland emphasized that there was no intent to evangelize. He says what happened exposed people's hearts.
Worshippers were coming for one heart of love for God, love for one another, and the protesters had a different heart motive, and they didn't seem to care if someone was a man, a woman, a grown person, a child, an elderly person, or a baby. They didn't seem to care. They were going to promote this violence, make this noise, and again, we believe they were just grossly misinformed about what the whole event was.
The musical evening has been an event for years. Holland says he hopes next time they can come up with a way to make it just that. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was rushed to a hospital today after feeling dizzy. The 73-year-old will spend the night in the hospital, but says he's feeling, quote, very good. Initial tests ruled he was dehydrated. Netanyahu had spent time outside in scorching heat yesterday. He'll undergo further testing as a precaution. Netanyahu is Israel's longest-serving leader.
Netanyahu's office said he was hospitalized after feeling mild dizziness. He said that he had spent the previous day in the heat at the Sea of Galilee, a popular vacation spot in northern Israel, and that after a series of tests, the initial assessment was that the veteran Israeli leader was dehydrated. Netanyahu issued a video statement from the hospital saying that he had been out in the sun on Friday without wearing a hat and without water. Not a good idea, he said. Thank God, I feel very well, but I have only one request from you. We are going through a heat wave in the country, so I ask you, be less in the sun and drink more water, and let us all have a good week. Whatever reason for his sudden dehydration, let us pray that God would speak to his heart and that his ears, as well as Arieh King, will be open to the voice of Yeshua, the HaMashiach. Let us also pray for the safety of the Messianic Jewish Christians and the peace of Israel and salvation from God through Jesus Christ for the people of Israel. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Thank you for watching, and may God both bless and keep you safe.